Hello guys, welcome back. Now today I'm going to be talking about 5 NHL players that have surprised me so far. Now throughout this NHL season, we've seen a lot of NHL players get to surprisingly good starts. So in this video, I'll be doing my best to detail 5 players that have surprised me the most. Now this is in no particular order, but I'm first going to start out with Max Domi of the Montreal Canadiens. Now he is a left winger at age 23, was drafted 12th overall back in 2013 by the Arizona Coyotes. And of course with his story, of course he being traded in the offseason from the Arizona Coyotes to the Montreal Canadiens, he had big expectations coming into the season, but he still surprised me with how well he's done. Now, so far in the 2018-2019 NHL season, he's played 31 games, he's gotten 14 goals, 17 assists for 31 points, pretty much a point per game at that marker. He has a 48.9% corsi for percentage right now, but with Max Domi, he's still played very, very well, and of course the points are definitely showing that, but he's finding a lot of chemistry with guys like Jonathan Drouin, and of course with some of those Montreal forwards, some of them have been really surpassing expectations, and I would say the biggest guy for that is Max Domi, since, because, of course, being in that trade, 1-for-1, Max Domi for Galchenyuk, he had expectations to be an offensive guy for Montreal, and so far, it's worked out pretty beautifully. And for Max Domi, besides his rookie year of Arizona, his time in Arizona was a little bit flawed, and of course we always knew that he had pretty good offensive potential, but he never quite showed that in Arizona. But so far in Montreal, it's seeming like a great fit. He's playing well with his teammates, and right now, it seems like Max Domi has found a home in Montreal, which is something that I think he never really did in Arizona. He was never really comfortable there, I felt, and now in Montreal, he's definitely thriving. But when that initial trade happened, Galchenyuk going to Arizona, Max Domi going to Montreal, I was heavily on the side of Arizona on there. But right now, it's looking like Montreal has the advantage in that trade, and it's looking like they won that one, which gotta give credit to Mark Bergevin on that one. He certainly made a good trade with that. But it's gonna be interesting to see how well Max Domi plays for the rest of the season. He's already started to slow down just a little bit in his production, but overall, he's still played fantastic, and the stats are certainly showing that. The next guy I want to mention is Morgan Rielly, of course, defenseman for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He is at age 24. He was drafted 5th overall back in 2012. And right now, when it came down to Morgan Rielly, we always knew that he had potential to become a superstar defenseman. As a prospect, it seemed like he always had the potential of becoming that. But before this season, he never quite realized that. But so far this season, he's taken a big role, and he's really exceeded in it. Now, so far this season, in the 2018-2019 season, he's played 31 games, has gotten 10 goals, 23 assists for 33 points. Right now, he is at a 49.3% corsi for percentage, and those stats are pretty amazing, especially for a defenseman and for any defenseman to be above a point per game. Even though it is early in the season, those are amazing stats. And of course, being on the Toronto Maple Leafs, he definitely benefits from guys like Marner, Tavares, and Matthews, but he has definitely been chugging it and has definitely been one of the powerhouses on that offense on his own right. And of course, this season has been a big year offensively for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and when it comes down to it, Morgan Rielly has been a big reason why. He's been leading the defensive end when it comes to the point, and while guys like Jake Gardiner might have stepped back a little bit, Morgan Rielly has put on the offensive pressure full force, and this season, we've really seen him explode offensively, and the production is really a career high in all respects. And I've always liked Morgan Rielly a lot. He's always been one of my favorite Leafs players throughout the years that he's been on the Maple Leafs. I mean, I have a signed puck of him, like, right there. So I honestly do like the guy, and it's amazing to see him produce so well this year. And of course, with the Toronto Maple Leafs, this was going to be a big year for a lot of guys offensively. We have guys like John Tavares coming in. But even then, Morgan Rielly has been a force to be reckoned with on that defensive end. And when it comes to the offense, there is bar none. He has been the best defenseman by far for the Leafs, and offensively, he's just been straight a star for them. And even though I did expect him to have a pretty decent year offensively, I don't think anybody expected him to be over a point per game at this point. I mean, we're 30 games in the season, and he's still producing very, very well. So while I expected him to have a good year, I never expected him to do this well. The next guy I'm going to mention is the only goalie in this video, and for the goalie I have Yaroslav Halak of the Boston Bruins, and at age 33, he's playing some of his best hockey of his career, and right now, when it comes to the goaltending, Yaroslav Halak has put himself as the Boston starter pretty much officially. Now, the next guy I'm going to mention is the only goaltender in this video, and next I have Yaroslav Halak of the Boston Bruins, and at age 33, he's really playing the best hockey of his NHL career, and right now he's playing fantastic to where he's pretty much taking the starter job away from a guy like Tuukka Rask. Now, so far this season, he's been in the upper echelon of goaltenders, and he's really been one of the best goaltenders so far this season. Now, in the 2018-2019 season, so far he's played 17 games, has had a 2.30 goals against average, with a .930 save percentage, and when we look at some of the advanced stats, like goals saved above average, he's currently at an 11.24, which is really, really good, being 4th in the entire NHL, and by the way, that .930 save percentage being 2nd in the entire NHL. And with Yaroslav Halak, he's been good enough to not just take away Tuukka Rask's starting job, he's been good enough to be in the possible Vezina Trophy conversation. He's been that good, and when we look at his stats, he's just been borderline amazing. And with his stats, he continues to get better almost every single day, it seems like. And with Boston, of course, they signed Yaroslav Halak in the offseason on a pretty cheap-ish deal, and it's really been working out for them so far, and they really needed a guy like Halak to step up, especially with how many injuries that they've had. And for the Boston Bruins, I think Halak has been one of the main reasons why they're still in the playoff spot right now, because while they're still a decent team on paper, they've been decimated by injuries over the last few weeks. Defensemen, forwards, you name it. It's pretty much just been an IR team right now, but with Yaroslav Halak, he's stayed healthy, he's stayed consistently good, and right now he's practically been the savior for Boston, and has been one of the main reasons why they still have a good record right now, even though they got unlucky due to injuries. Now, for me personally, I was never really a huge fan of Yaroslav Halak back of his time in Montreal, St. Louis, New York. I was pretty hard against him, and I was pretty hard about the signing in the offseason for Boston. I didn't think it would work for them. I didn't think Halak was going to be the guy for them, at least in the backup position. But so far, he's proven me wrong pretty much in every single way, and so far, he's been playing like one of the best goaltenders, which I would have never expected going into the season. Now, the next guy I'm going to mention is Gustav Nyquist of the Detroit Red Wings. He so far has been really, really interesting. Of course, right winger at age 29. He was drafted at 121st back in the 2008 NHL draft. And so far this season with Detroit, he's been very, very good, as Detroit has been a lot better in the last month. Now, after a rough start, Detroit started to play a lot better, and guys like Larkin, guys like Mantha, and guys especially like Gustav Nyquist started to play a lot better, and they were starting to rack up a ton of points. And I started to notice this as guys like Gustav Nyquist were really starting to play well, and right now, he's sitting at a pretty good point total, and for Detroit, it's as good as you can really expect. Now, so far this season, he's been very, very good. In 32 games played so far, he's gotten 8 goals, 21 assists for 29 points. He's at a 51.2% Corsi for percentage, which is very solid. And with those point totals, while Gustav Nyquist is a very talented player, I don't think anybody expected him to have this much at this point. While Detroit is playing a lot more better than they did in the first month, guys like Gustav Nyquist have really stepped up offensively, and I think that's a big reason why they've been competitive for a playoff spot. And it's weird saying that with the Detroit Red Wings after I predicted them to be the last place team in the league, but guys like Gustav Nyquist have been performing really, really well, and that's the reason why they've been competitive. But with Gustav Nyquist, he's always been pegged as a top 6 kind of forward. But with this year, he's starting to play like the top-line talent that he did in the first couple of years of his career. And with that, of course, we all know Gustav Nyquist is on an expiring deal. So if Detroit wants to go in that area, they could have a serious trade bait on their hands. And if Gustav Nyquist continues to perform, he could have some serious implications, especially at the trade deadline. And I certainly didn't expect him to play this well, and while I did have some expectations for Nyquist coming into the season, I don't think anybody expected, 29 points in 32 games. He's been really solid, and at age 29, you usually expect a guy to exit his prime at this time, but right now, he's playing like one of the best years of his career, and I'm super happy for that, because for right now, Gustav Nyquist is really performing, and Detroit kind of needs that right now. Now, the final person I'm going to mention in this video is Elias Lindholm of the Calgary Flames. Now, he is a right winger at age 24. He was drafted 5th overall back in the 2013 NHL Draft. And, of course, this offseason, he was traded from the Carolina Hurricanes to the Calgary Flames in that Noah Hanifin, Dougie Hamilton deal. But with that, Lindholm has really found a home in Calgary, and he's performing better than ever. And so far this season, I've been vastly impressed with how well Lindholm has played this season. I've never been the biggest fan of him when it comes to his time in Carolina, but so far in Calgary, he's been an excellent fit and has had great chemistry with guys like Sean Monahan and Johnny Gaudreau. Now, so far this NHL season, he's played very well. So far, he's played 31 games, has gotten 16 goals, 18 assists for 34 points, over a point per game, which I would have never expected. Right now, he's at a 57.4% corsi for percentage, and while he's playing with decent teammates, of course, Johnny Gaudreau and John Monahan are pretty amazing. Those are still amazing stats. Of course, the Corsi is also pretty amazing. But with those stats, Lindholm has found a special place in Calgary. He's really fitting in well, and when it comes to that Calgary offense, they've been pretty dynamic and pretty interesting, and that first line has been one of the best this season, and Lindholm has been a big reason why. But we've definitely seen an offensive explosion from him, and while his time in Carolina was okay, he's now finding his stride in Calgary, and of course playing with that top line of Monahan and Gaudreau is going to do a lot for your career, but I still think that he's played well in his own respect. I think Lindholm has deserved that credit. He's been a great complementary winger to guys like Monahan and Gaudreau, and while he's not the best player on that line, he's been one of the main reasons why it's been clicking so far this season. Now, of course, Calgary is definitely benefiting from Lindholm and how well he's playing so far this season. Calgary being one of the best teams in the Western Conference, and I think Lindholm has a lot to do with that. And so far, how he's playing, he's boosted the power play, he's boosted that 5-on-5 offense, and I don't see why he can't continue his play throughout the rest of the season. And while I'm not sure if he'll be over a point per game throughout the whole season, I think he'll continue to bring the momentum and will continue to bring the energy that Calgary needs every single night. But of course, with this video, I want to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comment section down below. Let me know your thoughts on this video. What do you think about the 5 players that I listed in this video? And of course, what surprising players have surprised you so far this season? But of course, if you guys want some more Grav videos, you can watch this video where I talk about the St. Louis Blues, Robert Bertuzzo, and Zach Sanford fight that happened in their practice. But that is going for it, guys. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Again, tell me down below your thoughts on the 5 players I listed and which player in the NHL has surprised you the most. And I'll see you guys next video or stream. Goodbye.